I don't know if you know that in Silicon Valley, that in the beginning of 2022 or the end of 2021, Stanford had an event at a hotel for the viruses, but there was no virus. They scammed to the way that they held an event about the pandemic that doesn't exist at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Palo Alto. I saw because I stay at a hotel next to that Crown Plaza Hotel. The hotel's called American Best Inn Hotel or something. I stay at, and I was coaxed to like walk out of the hotel room to sit at the lobby of the Crown Plaza Hotel that evening and saw that there was an event they were having called Stanford pandemic. And the name of that virus pandemic research gala, GALA, gala event unquote with the sound that was not there before that day. I was not there after that day, only that evening. I didn't take pictures. It's like useless. They said if you don't want your family or other people to die, you're not gonna acknowledge it because it was lies and scams. I didn't know what it means. I didn't know what it meant in 2021 or 22 that it was scams or schemes or it was a model society, but it was what Stanford University was doing in public outside Stanford in a hotel in Palo Alto near downtown area. Across the street from the Crown Plaza Hotel is the Oak Tree Motel or hotel. I also stayed in a few days. And there's a Creekside Inn Hotel also stay at. The Creekside Inn Hotel has a few different hotel buildings, I guess, and I have an elevator in the hotel buildings. I think from the hotel room, I could see a swimming pool down the ground. It's still there in that hotel in Palo Alto, Silicon Valley, California, USA. So back then in 2021 to 22, the Silicon Valley police they don't seem to know about like scams, schemes, news being old. People are not who they might say they are. Like you walk at any place, they said who they are to you when they might not even pay with like real money bills. And you don't know. But they said if you walk at a place and you don't like believe or hope anything, you won't get killed. But some people are murderers and they go to the places to murder people. And then they're called terrorists when like that's not saying anything at all. If it's a killer, it's gonna kill people. It says it's a terrorist and you might not look at the fact that terrorists are said to be very dangerous. So if you didn't take the counterterrorism certificate classes, like some of us who didn't have the counterterrorism certificate with the universities or colleges here in the US, we don't know. Terrorists are very dangerous and would mean they already maybe killed people. And you're not anybody to any terrorist, so they would kill you, basically. And they say in the class, you saw a terrorist, you're gonna get killed and you don't know why. And if you didn't tell authorities, then you might get killed because it won't be stopped. They said that. So you say you're DC 911 text messaging of like DC police, but anything happen, you didn't tell your supervisors or something, you still might get killed. They said if you hurt him, you just talk to your supervisors. Be like, because they don't know anything, maybe. And it's not about knowing or not knowing things, maybe, but your supervisors need to get you the support, but you didn't talk to your supervisors, and then there won't be any support, right? Then you don't have support, you might be killed. So, in a way, it is you got terrorist attacked by maybe terrorist machines, and you were exposed to terrorists, and then you were not monitored, and you got affected by the terrorist machines in your body or thinking or maybe both, and you're gonna die if there's no like intervene intervention or like disrupt to the point the model could occur without disruption. If you don't get your model disrupted, you could die because they would model you. Right? So that's something, and you might not say that's your thing. If it's not your thing, 'cause it could be anything. It could be with a model as a thing that nobody would say would be theirs. You could say it's your thing, but then you get killed. Happens in society. The magazines wrote it. I read it as a child. And it applies to any place, not just here DC. It would sound like it fits DC, but you could apply it to like California. It would sound like California. You could apply it to like New York City. It would sound like New York City because it's like a model. It's like there have been models throughout human history, and there have been society. So some people didn't get model and they stay alive. But you get model, you die only once, right? So you get model once, you're dead already, and you won't tell your story anymore after you died already. And it matters who you tell your story to, they said. It's like you have to make a decision to tell a story to the police and only the police, or like tell it to some other people randomly who could be anybody or the enemy of police. Like you told your story to the enemy of police, and it won't be government or army. If you have family and you're not like criminals, you didn't tell your story to the enemy of police by telling your family your story, you know. So you have to make a decision whether you will tell your story to police and only the police, or potentially even enemy to the police, who are criminals that might murder police, right? And you make that decision, you tell the police your story, and you don't get killed, and police will be safer as well. Because they said what people go traveling or go places, they saw things and they don't know what they saw. And police do not need to know about those things somebody they did not see or experience. Because, well, you told it to the police of one area about something you saw somewhere else. Is it relevant to like the area the police is of? Could it make police safer, or could it distract police? Or could it make police confused if you don't have like a a point to give by like telling police some random things because, well, the world is huge. And maybe if you went to like visit Africa, you will see crimes committed in Africa. And that means nothing to like here the US, even the US police, is because it wouldn't happen in the US. And the US will avoid poverty crimes like that. And nobody knows what Africa is like. So you don't want to be potentially kidnapped to Africa because you might not be saved. Anybody knows that in the world is like, oh, somebody had gone to Africa. You have to make a decision whether you're gonna have any contact with that person because you don't know what it means. You could die. Right? So black people, you're not supposed to say things about a black person being whatever way unless that black person said something about themselves or they did things and you saw it. Maybe you would tell the police, because why you gonna talk about black people in Africa if you went to visit Africa when all the people there in Africa would be like black people? How many can you talk about? So here the US would be like the same, right? You don't talk about black people in Africa. Here the US, you don't maybe talk about black people in the US. Unless you have to make a 911 call to help a black person, or maybe help 911 capture a black person. That will save the life of that black person that maybe needed help, or the life of 911 or society if that black person was committing a crime. Otherwise, you might not talk about like a black person randomly, because you cannot talk about people that can die, even if they're black people who can run very fast, they can still die when you talk about them. It depends on where you talk to about a black person. Could you talk to your criminal organizations, criminal groups, your terrorist groups about a black person and get a black person killed? Yes, you can. So Barack Obama back in 19 maybe 80s, at, at the latest, Barack Obama was maybe of like 1980s as US president, but he was maybe in 1970s as US president. He designed a slogan called "Yes, we can," unquote, because he's a black man. And he knew that he could get killed if he got talked about. So he couldn't say, yes, you can, because then you can kill him. And he understood that he had to listen. So somebody designed a slogan for Barack Obama and told him, you must say only that and not something else, or you could be killed. And he understood that part, and he said that part. That is, quote, yes, we can, unquote. And he was US president right after who George W. Bush. Right, like even though you might think that there's no timeline you could find of the politics of maybe 1950s to now, you can find a list of the US presidents on the internet. Search US president time chronology or something. You write down the president's names and the terms of the years, and you will see it's 4 years or 8 years usually. You list them out, you're gonna see it will end with Donald J. Trump. Unless Kamala Harris would be U.S. next president. Re-air if she was U.S. next president after Trump, and then if it was like aired with like the news coverages, news productions made. You might see it, you might not, because they might just run the 9/11 George W. Bush counterterrorism speech again, and then redo the news cycle. A cycle is like one circle or one round. So a cyclone in geography science about the weather is like a hurricane. You know, the wind is windy out because there's a hurricane, a typhoon. So you're hopeless, you don't understand any word. You suddenly realize, right? Oh my God. So this is up north in the US. It doesn't have hurricanes or cyclones or anticyclones usually, but you get to the south, there will be typhoons, storms, hurricanes. Right in the center of the US, there you will see tornadoes and they just appear suddenly, and you won't be able to know when there will be a tornado. It's gonna swoosh you up the air. You're gonna die in the air, mid-air. Like typhoon kills people. Tornadoes also kill people. So hurricane, typhoon, cyclone, anticyclone, they happen mostly around the subtropical areas of the earth. It's on the north and the south hemisphere of the earth subtropical belt around like 23.5 degree north or south